lobby here, but
I can't hear you now.
Zach, can you jump back in the webinar jam here? Hold on. Hey guys, welcome. Zach should be right back on the webinar jam here. We are live on Facebook, live on YouTube.
I didn't mean to. Let me jump back in.
There we go. Welcome. If you don't mind jumping in the chat, we see a bunch of people saying hi already. I love it. So we've got, let's see, Colby, Aaron, Alexandra, Daryl, Kimberly, Ryan, Diana. Fantastic. Hope everyone's having a great Monday. Happy Monday. Here we go.
There
Zach,
we go.
I lost you.
Yeah, no, it kicked me out for some reason. I didn't realize it still was showing that I was there. That was weird.
All good. We're having everybody say hello first. If you want to put where you're based out of as well, throw that in the chat too. That's always great to find an accountability buddy here. That's going to make you much more successful teaming up together when you can. So, welcome. Do you see any familiar names in the chat here, Zach? I know you know quite a few people, obviously.
Not yet.
All right, let's see. Welcome, everybody. If you are watching, really quick, if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, we have a little ticker at the bottom. It's if you want to join the challenge free there, that's going to be, here we go. Let me put that in. 21-day challenge. Cool. Awesome. It's zackchallenge.com. Awesome. If you're trying to join if you're watching Facebook and YouTube, make sure to join there. If you are on the webinar jam, awesome. You've already signed up. You're already registered. You're already ready to go. You're already going to get the emails. The reason why you want to join on Facebook and YouTube is you're going to get emails throughout this challenge as well. We're doing these live trainings too. And I'll give you guys the full rundown here in just a minute, but we'll do these live trainings, but also we're going to try to keep it to an hour today, an hour for each training. But on the email, we're going to be sending out homework. We're going to be sending out pro tips. We're going to be sending out all kinds of goodies, giveaways, all kinds of stuff. So make sure to go to zackchallenge.com to sign up for the free challenge if you have not yet. If you're in the webinar jam, you already did it. So great stuff. You're already off to a great start. So Zach, how you feeling today, man?
Oh, so good. Been absolutely crazy, guys. I'm kind of sad. It's my little girl's 5th birthday today. And I got out of bed and left to go to work before she was even awake. I haven't got to see her or talk to her. So right after this, we're going to a birthday party to see her. So I just want you guys to know that, that's what I am choosing to do. Is I'm choosing to be here to help you guys because I care that much. I will say this, though. Everyone that is here, if you are already a Driving for Dollars Mastery student, if you're one of my students, I do not want you here. And the reason for that is you already have all this and more exactly outlined, and this will be a distraction for what you've already invested to me helping you get your first deal. So please, if you're a student and you're here, you're watching this is a distraction for you. I want you to stay laser focused on the Driving for Dollars Mastery program. But if you're not in the Driving for Dollars Mastery program and you're here, this is where you need to be. So excited to help you.
Yeah. And Zach, I know, and here, I'll start to tee this up for you guys as well. But I know on this challenge front as well, the exciting thing with this and with real estate in general is, hey, you're building a life to fit your life design, right? Like the fact that you can have the flexibility. I think you're in Florida today, right?
Yeah. We decided to extend our trip a week.
Yeah,
so I've been here for over a week now.
It's so awesome to be able to do that, to be able to hang out with your family for that, to be able to jump off this so we won't run over an hour on you guys. So we'll really try hard, but we'll be able to jump off this and go do that next and design your life around that. I mean, that's part of why we do this, man. So glad
we've been shopping. We've been shopping all week for our second home to spend our winters in Florida. So we can't decide if we want to go south of Tampa, clear down to what is it? Naples, Florida, or up here closer to Crystal River. There's pros and cons to both, but yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's like pinch myself, right? Like the quality of life that real estate can provide. It's insane.
I love it, man. Yeah, and again, tell your little girl happy birthday too. I know mine are 6, 4, and 2, so I definitely get it. But again, as you jump in the chat, go into the chat, say where you're based out of, say where you're watching from. We'd love to have people just say hello and start to meet each other, start to hold each other accountable. Again, if you're watching on the Facebook or YouTube, make sure to go to zackchallenge.com in order to register free for the challenge, to get an invite to all these future trainings, and to get all of the homework, the giveaways, all of the follow-up stuff via email as we go through this thing. So welcome, everybody. Again, if you don't know me, I'm Matt Camp over here with DealMachine. Run partnerships over here. I love doing these live trainings with Zack. He a phenomenal partner over there, our go-to coach when it comes to driving for dollars. Like he's the man in that world. So very excited to be doing this challenge with him. I know our mission is to give everyone the power of real estate investing and give you technology to help enable that. We're really lucky and proud to say we're the highest rated, most reviewed app out there for investors to find off market deals. So that's where a lot of the playbook we give you guys over these next 3 weeks. On our end, it's listening to what's working well for our customers. And Zack, I mean, he's a lead at this. He's got a phenomenal curriculum laid out for you guys. So really excited to be teaming up with Zack and doing this here. So Zack, I know one thing I want to mention before we get rolling in terms of right now and the opportunity right now. I know on our end, I mean, whenever you hear recession or slowdown or downturn or whatever you want to call it, any kind of uncertainty in the market, that just means, hey, there's going to be a lot more financial problems, financial issues that people are going to be dealing with. And us as investors, we are more valuable in those situations. Our whole goal is to come in and solve people's problems. We want to find those people who are motivated, offer them, tools that can help solve their problems, like speed to help them move quickly, convenience to help them move as is, cash to help them move, if they want to take that route or not work with the realtor, or there are hundreds of reasons why that we, they may want to work with you as an investor. And those reasons are more prominent, more pronounced now more than ever. So right now is the time to step up and take action. Can you talk about this? I know you've seen an incredible change in your business, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. So a couple things, guys. I came down to Tampa last week. The first 3 days of last week, I was at a mastermind. It was a mastermind called The Family. This is a mastermind with real estate influencers, not just real estate guys that make a ton of money, but also teach it all across the country and see numbers, not just for their own real estate businesses, but for their students all across the country. In there with rock stars, my original mentor, and many other people that I love and respect that have been in the industry much longer than myself, to learn from them and to connect with them. And it was really cool, right? Because we spent a lot of time talking about real estate as well, and they're seeing some of the same things that I'm seeing. So what happened last year, right? And I'm going to share some numbers in my own business. Last year, we got a lot of people lost a lot of money. A lot of flippers lost a lot of money. One of them is a very good friend of mine in Utah. His name's Matt. I've had him on my podcast, and he had over 50 rentals in his inventory that he was selling. 50 guys. So this guy's a big dog. This guy's been doing it for over 20 years. Rock star. I go hunting with him. He's kind of one of the go-to guys that I call when I have a question about real estate. And I think he lost $2 million on that 50 properties, right? $2 million plus. He's got deep enough pockets that's not a big deal to him, which is crazy, right? Crazy money. But there's a lot of people that lost money because when they increased interest rates, it definitely slowed down the market. A lot of flippers lost their shorts, which made it a little bit more skeptical buyers when it came to wholesaling. There was definitely a slowdown. There was also more insecurity and confusion on what a seller should do. So there was less actual response rate to our marketing. So not only did how much we could make per deal slow down, but also our sellers slowed down a little bit. So we still did $1 million last year, right? In my wholesaling business, we still made money. We got through it. It was a struggle. But our slowest months are usually our first quarter, traditionally, right? Guys, we just finished our first quarter, right? March just ended. I made over 3 times more money in my real estate wholesaling business in the first quarter of this year than I did in the first quarter of last year. Wow. Guys, my business is exploding. There has been companies that have gone out of business because they couldn't afford or they got over leveraged on flips, because a lot of wholesalers flip as well. There's a huge wholesaler in Utah that went out of business, a huge one. They were doing over $3 million a year in revenue, out of business. So there's been a lot of people that have pulled away, and the buyers are starting to get motivated again, right? The sky's not falling anymore. and all across the country. It's what we talked about in the live event. There is more profits, less competition, more sellers, right? Like there is a ton of money right now, and you guys can participate in this. And eventually it'll catch back up and it'll be as competitive as hard as it was. But right now is a cool time. And I'm seeing the numbers in my business. Super exciting.
Absolutely. And we're seeing that on our end across our user base too, man. So that is, very, very exciting time to be involved in this. I will say, like, the number one problem of where people just don't get started, they don't know exactly what to do to get rolling, is they just don't know how or where to find a great deal. And that is our goal with this challenge, is to go through the next 21 days and give you that playbook. You know, Zack, again, is a wealth of knowledge in this area. He's going to be giving the full rundown on, hey, here's exactly what to be doing. And we're going to be going through homework assignments and everything together. So I want to give you a little bit of context on our end of where this comes from, where the playbook comes from on our side. David Lecko, our CEO and founder, I know he just did a live with you, Zack, a week or two ago, 2 weeks ago, I think. He was hanging out in Utah in the snow with you and, had a great time, did a live stream, really talking about how Zack is our go-to guy for driving for dollars, period, our recommended coach on any of this stuff. And, David, he himself went through his own personal real estate investing journey where he created DealMachine as something to really scratch his own itch. He was somebody who was from St. Louis. I'm out here in St. Louis, was moving to Indianapolis, was figuring out, like, hey, what is that next thing I should be doing in life? He had read, Rich Dad Poor Dad, like many of you. He had, was entrepreneurial, had read entrepreneurial books like 4 Hour Workweek, things like that, like lifestyle design books. And he knew that, hey, at some point I want to get into real estate. And for him, he really dedicated one full year, really headfirst, trying to figure out, okay, how do I get into real estate? How do I educate myself? Where do I start? How do I get going? And for him, 1 year later, he had the dream car. He had the dream plane. He was living on the beach. Just kidding.
I was like, say what?
You're like, David, are you sure? Yeah, it's fun. No, not quite. It was, for him, he made a lot of mistakes. He made a lot of, had a lot of personal failures he dealt with, and then learned a ton from. And going through this whole process, he learned, one, going on market, looking at things like this, looking at maps like this, is extremely difficult to find a great deal that especially is going to, well, one, going to cash flow if you're going to hold the property, or two, be any kind of, appealing thing to wholesale to a cash buyer. Extremely, extremely difficult to find that discount on market. When he tried that, he said, okay, cool. Hey, that's not working. Let me try something else. He's tried to get these just general big lists, high equity lists, absentee lists, things like that. You can get lists like this from the city, from all kinds of places. And for him, he tried to take that list. He tried to reach out to them by sitting down, writing down a letter, would look up more info about the owner, would take all this time to handwrite something, took forever, and realized, man, these people are being bombarded. Like, the people I'm trying to reach out to, I am one of many, many people that's falling on deaf ears here, because they are facing a ton of different outreach, a ton of different people trying to get to them. So he was just one of many people in that crowd. Realized, okay, cool. I'm not going to find a great deal this way. It is way too competitive. These are not the best leads out there. So he started this thing called Driving for Dollars. And, Zack, it looks like you jumped off here again. There we go. I don't know what's going on with Webinar Jam. Hopefully it doesn't kick you out too many times, man. But I can hear you okay. So when he realized that, hey, let me try this thing called Driving for Dollars. Like, hey, I've been hearing other people recommend this, and hearing people say this is the most common way that people find their first deal, that newbies go find that first deal. And for him, he realized, okay, awesome. I like the concept of it. The idea of physically getting in your car, driving around, looking for fixer-upper properties, looking for those rundown houses that aren't easily appearing on these big lists, that aren't on market yet. You can go directly to the seller and have a conversation before they're raising their hand and wanting a ton of offers. But when he took this approach, he realized, hey, you know what? I'm finding really good leads. I'm finding houses like this, 1433 right here. This is a picture from David, where he's driving by, he's finding these houses, and he'd drive by, 6 months later, and he'd see it looks like this. So, hey, these are great leads because they're getting fixed up. They're transacted on. An investor's actually taking them over. They're not coming to me. And he realized, I'm just not following up enough. I'm not finding enough houses, and I'm not having enough conversations. I'm not getting out there enough in front of these people that they actually have a conversation with me to be the one to sell the property to. So the main two lessons that David learned through this whole journey was, one, go directly to seller to get the best deals, to get, find those deals that actually people will trade their financial distress, a solution to it for equity, for a discount, for a good deal. And I just need to talk to enough people that I taught that may potentially sell at a discount, that identify by driving for dollars in order to get to one deal and many deals after that. And when he started doing that himself, what he figured out was, okay, I got to find those motivated sellers to unlock incredible deals. I need to go off market. Let me create technology to help solve this problem for me, because his background was he grew up in tech, and he grew up always messing with the newest gadgets and just being a tech savvy guy himself, and ended up going into computer science and figuring that whole world out. So for him, he created version 1. This is not quite what DealMachine looks like anymore. This was version 1 that he built just for himself. You can see here, like, hey, he was just adding properties. He was sending out direct mail, and he would automatically have this thing send it mail, every 21 days, and just, set it and forget it, kind of put it on repeat, let it keep sending over and over. And it started to work. Like, he started to acquire 7132 Grandview right here. Purchase price, renovated. It was value add property, single family home, great equity, great value in it. Here's what it looks like today. Next one, 7114 Grandview, same thing. Purchased it, renovated it out. Actually did the Burr method on this one. Great equity, great value in it. This is what it looks like today. And he did this over and over. Built himself a small portfolio. Built up over, now it's over 1.6 million or so in value. Great equity built in, 5 figures in monthly income. Built his own financial freedom, and realized, man, this problem, I think I can solve this for other people. Like, this is something that my friends are starting to ask me and come to me and say, how are you doing this? And that's where DealMachine was born, is he took that little idea, him solving his own problem, him being extremely frustrated, trying to figure out, what do I do next? And how do I find enough leads? And how do I follow up with them? And created, this was version 1 on the App Store, actual public, app that other people could access, and turn that into a company where today our mission is to give everyone the power of real estate investing. We use technology to do this. Again, we're the highest rated, most reviewed app out there for investors to find off market deals. People have done over 10,000 deals using DealMachine in every state, every market, and really proud to say that. And really the playbook that we talk about through this challenge, and that, we team up with Zack for as well, comes from David's story. It comes from people like Ryan Haywood right here, who's somebody that I know, if anyone follows David's content closely at all, he's had on Ryan quite a bit. He did a 30-day challenge that on day 17, he landed his first wholesale deal. He's done over 400 deals using DealMachine since then. Enzo Needy's another one who he does a mix of wholesaling. Then he reinvests that into his company to do some flips and buy and holds. 3/4 of his deals have come from DealMachine. Patrick Martin right here, he's one more example of, he was literally sleeping in his truck and had a friend tell him about DealMachine, and look up real estate on YouTube, real estate investing videos. There you go. I love the text messages. Is that Ryan?
This is Lisa Johnson.
Yeah.
Sole provider, mom of 4, right? Her husband doesn't work, has some issues, got in an accident, and she couldn't even pay her bills, right, at Christmas time this last year. She wasn't going to give her kids a Christmas. She was behind on her mortgage. She did her first deal, got caught up, got current and everything else, and she just got her second deal. Okay, guys, so she got out of debt and everything with the first deal. She just got another one. She texted me this yesterday evening, assigning the contract now for $20,000 commission. Mind blown, crying emoji, smile emoji, right? Like,
that's awesome.
That stuff it's amazing, guys. Like, it's so life changing, right? I get texts like this over and over that like, this stuff's real. This isn't just stuff that's in slides. This stuff is real. It happens every day. It's just not happening to you guys, probably. All we got to do is just fix that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like you said, you've seen hundreds of those messages, man. So it's awesome to see the lives that you're changing there. But
yeah, I have hundreds. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of text messages and thank yous, and this stuff works, and I was here and now I'm here. Like, it's mind blowing, right? If you guys want to see hundreds of these stories, my website, my podcast, I know most of you guys already know about me. You're seeing this stuff from my content. That's why, you got here from my following. So you guys know, right? Like, if you don't know, you should know. Like, this is real.
Absolutely. So these next 21 days, that's what we're going to be doing. Is we're going to be breaking down that playbook. Every Monday, we're going to do a live training, keep it to about an hour, give you that playbook, help you overcome challenges. We're going to assign homework each week. And it is a challenge. It's something where you're going to have to get out there and put the work in. And, in the end, no matter what Zach, coaches you on, or the tools that we give you, it's up to you to take that and to run with it and to act on it. So we will break that down for you, make it very simple and straightforward, the exact proven process, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. But also, hey, we want you to come into this challenge ready to take action, ready to learn, and then act on that learning. So that's what we're doing on Mondays. Through the week, again, you're going to be getting emails from me on hey, here are the pro tips. Here's, exactly what to do. Here's, how to get an accountability buddy. Here's, the goals you should be setting, all kinds of stuff like that. And, so pay attention to your email. And then on Fridays, also via email, we will give you the instructions on how to enter these free giveaways. And we're going to give away over $3,000 through these next 3 weeks of all kinds of stuff, where this week it's going to be an $800 giveaway if you complete that homework. And, we want you to be fired up, ready to go to do that. So, is there anything, Zach, you want to add anything else before we jump into the actual training here for today?
No, well, first off, let's just say this, guys. Consistency is the key to your success, right? I had a conversation recently with one of my mentors, and, I was paying him to go in and help me get my students more results. What could I do? How could I improve my coaching? How could I improve my messaging? And had him go through not only my social media my podcast, especially, my free stuff, but also the coaching program itself. What could I do better? And he said, well, Zach, your training's the best. It's the best. The small wins, the systems, it works. It's proven. You do it yourself. It's amazing. He said, the number one thing that I can help you with, and that I would like to tell you to do, is to help people understand that personal improvement is one of the most important things. So we're going to go into some key action steps to get your first wholesale deal, key action steps and things that you need to do. But I'm going to tell you guys this: if you're not developing as a person, none of that shit will matter. Why won't it matter? Because you're going to fall apart. If your personal life's falling apart, if you have bad habits, if you're staying up late, if you're drinking too much, if you're not following through with the day-to-day and staying consistent because you don't have the character that's required to work and to work hard and to do things even though you don't want to because you want that long-term benefit, you'll never have success. So I want to make sure that, yes, we're doing this, but if you're not doing this, I want to add this to your list. Okay, this isn't part of the training, but I want to add this because I want to change your life. You need to be reading 10 pages a day. And 10 pages of not love journals or love novels and that kind of stuff, right? You can do that if you want to. But I want you to read 10 pages of self-improvement, right? If you don't know what to start with, read Atomic Habits. I want you to start with that one if you don't know what to read. But you should be reading 10 pages of self-improvement.
I have that somewhere.
It could be, it's a great one. It could be business. It could be personal. If you're struggling in your marriage, one of the best books for my marriage that I ever read was called How to Improve Your Marriage Without Talking About It. It also helped me lead better when it came to leading women, right? Because we think a little bit differently. We process information a little bit differently. Our fears are a little different, and it helped me understand them, which helped me understand myself. So read 10 pages a day, because if you're not developing as a person, you're also not going to develop as far as building a business and being a leader and being able to build that business successfully. So work on yourselves, right? Read 10 pages a day. That would be my suggestion, because if you're not developing as a person, you're not going to find success long term. You might get a deal, but it's not gonna last. So
yeah,
okay,
that's a great tip. Yeah, foundational. Start there. Yeah, work on always be improving yourself, like you said. So, love that. Again, for the actual, the stuff we just went over, if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, make sure to go to ZackChallenge.com. It's going across the bottom of the screen right there on the ticker. Sign up free there. You're going to get invited to all these future live trainings. And then also you'll get the replay email. You'll get the homework. You'll get the pro tips, all that stuff. You'll be a part of the free challenge here. So if you're on YouTube or Facebook, make sure to go there. But all right, Zach, let's dig in today. So what we want to talk about today, and our goal, again, each week we're going to be progressing, giving you that playbook. Today we're really focused on building that list. next week we're going to be talking marketing. The week after that, closing deals, making offers, all of that. But today is really focused on building that list and how to find the highest quality leads out there. And, just to give a little bit of background on this, again, driving for dollars, the goal is, hey, getting in your car, driving around your market, looking for, the tarp on the roof, the gutters falling off, the, siding falling off, the, weeds growing through the concrete, front yard, backyard's a mess. More subtle things like, it's outdated, like a window AC unit, or, one example.
Vehicles parked on grass instead of in the driveway.
Yeah. Keep going. Tell me more that you teach. Yeah.
Just houses that don't look like they're being used.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like, they might be pretty decently kept, but like, there's nothing. There's no like yard furniture. There's no shoes in the front door. It just doesn't look like it's being used. I can spot a vacant house, and a lot of times it's not because it's so run down. It's just because there's just no signs of life, right? That's a huge one. I also look for like old broken blinds. If you can see old broken blinds, that's huge. Or blankets for what do you call it? Blinds versus actual like curtains, like good curtains. Old windows, old aluminum windows instead of vinyl. So it's definitely dated. The number one thing that I don't add, that's a good one. The number one things that I don't add is very manicured yards. So if it's very well manicured, someone loves that house. Mm-hmm. They love it. They want it to look nice. That's the number one thing I don't add. Right.
Great. Yeah. And Steven, this will be available afterwards. We'll email out this replay after everybody too. So, awesome. So with that in mind, I mean, those signs, again, the whole goal with this is we're finding the most motivated leads, because again, physical distress like that is the number one indicator of a motivated seller. Like that is what you're looking for, that might indicate somebody has, some kind of problem that you can come in and solve as a wholesaler, as an investor. It's the number one way that newbies find that first deal, and really, on top of them being motivated, it's also the least competitive list out there too, because you are going out there, you are earning that list yourself. You are, there's a barrier to entry. It's not easy to go out and drive for dollars and find hundreds of leads. Like, if you're doing this, if you're just pulling a list, like you can do that in 5 minutes, right? Any investor, anybody who's trying to be an investor can get really easy access to that. Whereas this strategy, you are getting out there and you are finding the diamonds in the rough that may not show up on these other lists that are easy to access, and they're only your leads. So that's what we're looking for, is the best bang for your buck leads out there. They're the most motivated and least competitive. So, Zach, to kind of go through this, I know, again, our whole goal is to show off building your list of motivated sellers. You can do this either by hand. Again, like we have people who are doing that. We give you DealMachine. We build DealMachine for a reason. We give you a 7-day free trial, which you can see kind of at the bottom of the slide there. It's a 7-day free trial with, if you stick on past that trial, you get the full $100 of free stuff to be able to reach out to sellers, which we can break that down later for you guys too. We've got kind of 2 special bonuses at the end here. But Zach, do you want to kind of go through? I can pull up DealMachine here. And I know you're the master at this, man. Do you want to kind of walk through?
Can I quickly talk to him about where to go drive first? Because we're going to talk about where, then how to use the app, right?
Absolutely.
Because we know what to look for, right? We just talked about what to look for when we go drive, but where do we go drive?
I want to give you the stage here because you are the pro at this, man. So you go for it.
Well, first, let me say this. It's very important to know where to drive. And there's a couple ways to do this. Okay, so I'm going to give you some tips. Take notes, guys. Get a pen and paper, right? Because I'm about to dump a massive amount of information and action steps. And the problem is you got to start with your notes. So when you go to implement this stuff, what's going to make you successful? Is it knowing all the steps, or is it doing all the steps, right? It's doing. So as you write these notes, write them down and just, start with like the first action step, next action step. And then when you go back to implement, go to the top one and just do that. Don't worry about the next ones until it's time to do the second one. Okay. So, and then a lot of times what will happen, I'm going to giving you a ton of coaching and a ton of training. What I want you to understand is you have the ability to become a student of mine and have, constant group coaching calls, direct access to me, my cell phone. So if you want coaching and more in-depth coaching, we can do that. But I'm not trying to like sell that or anything. I just want you to understand that if you don't feel like this is enough support, I can support you more if you want to make that investment. No worries if you don't. Okay, so first action step, we got to figure out where to drive, right? Where do we drive? Well, we got to figure out where the deals are happening. the best and most accurate way is getting on your other wholesalers' cash buyers list. So what is wholesaling? I'm going to break this down like granular if you know absolutely nothing about real estate or what we're doing. Wholesaling is where we find an ugly house that the sellers want to sell for speed and convenience over price. They don't want to deal with it. They want a pawn shop for that house. You get the property under contract and you pass that contract to an investor and they close on it. So you don't have to buy the house. You don't have to have experience in real estate. You don't have to have a license. You find the opportunity and you pass it on for essentially a finder's fee. Okay. So we're trying to find people that want to sell for speed and convenience over price. So there's other wholesalers, there's competitors, right? And that's actually a good thing because you can learn from them and you can get data from them for free. So wholesalers, how do they market their deals? Most of them email. They do an email blast. They get a deal under contract and they email blast it to their buyers list, or they'll text it, right? And so what I want you to do is I want you to get on 3 wholesalers cash buyers list, and there's ways to find the wholesalers, right? So how do we find them? So action step 3 wholesalers cash buyers list. How do we find them? There's a couple ways. I'm just going to give you one. Well, I'm going to give you 2. First one, this one's okay. It works. It's REIA groups near me. Google that. REIA groups near me. That stands for Real Estate Investors Association groups. Okay. And you're going to find out where they are, where they meet, and you go meet up with them. The problem is they might not meet for another 2 weeks, and it might cost $400 a year or $1,000 a year, and you don't have that, right? So that might not be an option. The best and fastest way, and it's free, free's great, right, is you're going to Google you need to Google sell my house fast and then the city, right? Google sell my house fast. Let's say you live in Houston, sell my house fast, Houston. It's going to pop up all the flippers and all the and even wholesalers that are ranking in Google for that key term, sell my house fast, right? Because that's what they want to rank for. You're going to call that number and you say, hey, I'm an investor. I'm interested in buying off-market investment deals. Don't say you're a new wholesaler because they're going to think you're competition and they're going to be worried that you're trying to see the deals so you can go talk to the sellers, right? Don't do that crap, by the way. You're going to get in big trouble and get sued, right? Don't do something stupid. But you're going to call that wholesaler and you're going to say, hey, I want to get on your buyer's list. I'm an investor. I'd like to see the deals that you have available. And they're going to ask you questions like, what's your buy box or what's your criteria? And you're gonna say, I just want to see everything. If it's a good deal, I'd buy it. I just want to see what you have available. Do you do an email blast? How do you market your deals that you have available? And you're gonna get on those buyers lists. Why? Because over 3 to 6 months, you want to know what cities and areas that those deals are happening. That is your most accurate data because, like, for example, here in Utah, we did this where we pulled all the other wholesalers. So we were on all the buyers lists of all the wholesalers here in Utah. We pulled all the data from all last year, and I think it was like 90 properties. You know what's crazy? Only 5 of them were not on our driving for dollars list. I was like, hell yeah, we're scraping all those areas, but also deleted a ton of our efforts and marketing dollars that were focused on the wrong areas and put more money and more effort to capture those 90 deals we didn't capture, right? So it's allowing us to focus not only on the areas that make sense financially, but also where the deals, because I promise if there's deals in that neighborhood, there's more. Just because there's competition in that area and there's deals being done doesn't mean there's less deals. It actually means there's more deals. There's more there. That's where I want you to focus. The problem with that strategy is going to take time to get data. So start now, get on buyers list so you can accumulate that data. For the time being, to get started immediately, I want you to Google median house price and then your city. You're going to find what your median house price is. Can I share my screen? I don't know if I can share my screen. Maybe do,
you might be able to.
Yeah, maybe do this action step for us so they can see what I'm talking about. So okay. Do sell my median house price St. Louis. Can you pull that up?
Yep, here, give me a second. Median house.
There should be a Zillow link. One of the pop-ups, one of the suggested searches. So Redfin's one as well. So just click on that one. There'll be a Redfin or a Zillow. So click on that one.
Okay.
So you can use this with Redfin or Zillow, right? Boom, median house price, 196. Now we want to go drive neighborhoods that are single-family homes that are under 196,000. You don't want to drive in neighborhoods where the single family homes are selling for more than 196, because your lower income areas are going to be the ones where there's more investor traffic and more opportunities for a wholesaler. So if you go to now to Redfin and go to St. Louis and look up properties for sale. So just go for sale. Yep. And then you want to put a filter of single family. We want to get rid of condos, townhomes, because those usually sell for much less.
Here we go.
So home type, beautiful. Here's a filter.
Internet is a little slow here for me. Hold on.
That's okay.
Maybe a lot.
So you guys can do this activity, right? You can go to the filters. So all filters over to the right. You can do price point, nothing that has sold for over or under. And then you'll be able to zoom in and see the outskirting areas of St. Louis or right within downtown St. Louis. And there'll be little subdivision, little blocks where if you don't have data of solds on Redfin or Zillow, just do properties for sale. And if there's properties for sale in that price range or under, those are the areas that you're going to go drive. Okay. So you're going to drive in neighborhoods that where median house price or lower are available. And I would not drive in neighborhoods where the houses are selling for less than 50,000. So you want to drive in neighborhoods that they're selling for at least over 50,000, because think about this, fixed up house sells for $50,000. And you might be thinking that's crazy. That doesn't exist. Depends on the market. Okay. If you're in a low end, there's different places in Illinois, Indiana. There's certain places where the house prices don't sell for over 50 grand. And the problem is that's not a big enough margin to make a wholesale fee, right? There's too much expense for it to be worth the time of an investor. So you're not going to be able to wholesale them. I avoid those areas. I suggest you do the same. So median house price to 50,000. That's where you're going to go drive. That's the filter. That's the action step of finding out where to drive. Now let's talk about driving, right? How do we drive? What do we do?
Awesome. Perfect. So on that front here, let me show off this bit right here. Cool. So yeah, Zach, one thing I do want to mention as well, I know obviously like Redfin's a phenomenal free resource to go that direction. If anybody's using DealMachine currently or going to try out the 7-day free trial, if you do try out the pro level plan with us, we do have quite a bit in terms of filtering here on this highlights button. Or if you click highlights, you can go in here and be able to say like, hey, yeah, let me create a highlight of, hot neighborhoods, which essentially shows properties, areas that have recently sold or have sold within the last 60 days, things like that, where you can kind of get some cherry picked areas of showing you like, hey, here are blocks where things have sold recently. And it'll give you a good sense of investor activity in certain areas and help you kind of use that data point potentially as well. But Zach, do you want to kind of mention like, hey, here's my playbook for how to get out there, how to drive for dollars, how to build that list, and I can kind of show it off in DealMachine on real time as well?
Yep. So one of the things that you want to do when you go out to go on a drive, the first button you click is Start Drive. So, well, actually, yeah. So let's do that, right? Show them how to hit Start Drive. So there, go ahead.
Yep. No, obviously we're showing off the desktop version as well right now. There's also a mobile version. The mobile version is what you're going to see whenever you're out driving, when you're actually out, physically driving for dollars here. So everything I show you on here is reflected in mobile. If you add a lead on desktop, you add a lead on mobile, they both go on that same leads tab. They both go in the same spot, sync up instantly there. So, if you're on the mobile app, when you hit start driving, it's going to say, hey, do you want a free drive? Do you want to have a list, or do you want to virtually drive for dollars? In the desktop version, it defaults to virtual for you because you're not actually driving around, right? But I can kind of simulate what a real drive would be using virtual drive for dollars in the on here.
I don't think it needs to be. Just hit, because with time restrictions, I want to like blow through this quickly, right? And they can catch the recording on my YouTube as well. Subscribe, guys, to my YouTube channel, please, because there's so much freaking awesome content that we put out there. When you go in and catch that, if you're not already. So hit Start Drive, and then I do the free drive. There's other tech and cool things where you can plan a drive and prepare a drive and create a route. And like, that's all cool and stuff. But for your first drive to go get your first 200 houses this week on your driving for dollars first, just hit free drive, have an idea of where you're going to go drive, right? You've done the activity through Zillow, Redfin, or right here on knowing where to drive, and hit start drive and hit free drive. And that's going to route track where you've been. So you'll be able to look at the map and be like, oh, wait, I actually was down that street. If you're anything like me, you're driving around, you're looking at houses, you're like, where did I start? Have I seen that street? I thought I saw that house before, right? So that's going to highlight the streets for you. The other thing that when you see an ugly house, right? Well, actually, let me do this. Over on the left here, if you click on that little map button, it'll pop this up, right? You want to make sure that you have, you can choose whether you want satellite or standard, right? I personally like to drive in satellite. It doesn't matter though. I like satellite. Why? Because you can see what color the roofs are from the satellite image. And if I'm like, man, is 321 this one or that one, and I can't find the house number on the house, because it'll show the house number when you're hovering, like see the house number. If you can't see the house number, that's the fastest way. It's like, oh, that's 3704. Well, 3704 is right there. Boom, click it. But if there's no house number on the house, well, you got the color of the roof. Oh, it's the red roof next to the black roof. Bam, right? You hit the button. So I like satellite. I think it's a little faster. That's just a personal preference. The next thing too that you want to do is the mode that you're adding properties. So over here, there's pin mode. See that? You're going to want to change that. So I like the tap to add. Pin mode is where you got to take a picture. It's going to take way more time. I like to build a list quickly. I don't necessarily want to send postcards with pictures that I took. It's just going to take way more time, way less properties per hour of driving. And I want to go gather up that data. I want to take that data and then go reach out to them. And we'll talk about that the next time we talk. But you're going to just hit tap to add, right? And then when you have tap to add, now you're going to be driving through. Your route tracking software is on, right? You're driving through those neighborhoods and you're just touching those ugly houses.
Yep. That's the great thing too. Tap to add like that. And you just literally tap on them and it'll start to add them to your list. So you'll see these blue pins popping up right there. Those are each individual leads that you're adding. And again, you're surrounded by black dots. Each black dot is a house. You know, if you drive down the street, you see, run down house after run down house. There you go. Just tap to add, and you can quickly build that list. That was built with input from you, Zach. So,
yeah, guys, I want you to understand. Like we told you guys, Matt's story that Matt created this technology. Why? Because he was a real estate investor and was doing driving for dollars the hard way, where you have to look, write down the address by hand. Go home, look up on county recorder's website, who owns it, what's their mailing address. Now we got to go take that info and go and look up who, the phone numbers. It took forever to get data, forever and ever to get data. And like the old school way of driving for dollars was not a way to build and scale a business. But I believed that there was a way to take technology and do this. I can't remember, it was tens of thousands of dollars. I can't remember the exact number. I think I had $40,000 with an app developer. I put down a deposit to build this, what you guys have in front of you. And I spoke on stage back in 2018 and, DealMachine approached me. David Lecco came up to me with Josh and they were at that event and they're like, well, Zach, like we want you to promote us. We want you to use us. We want you to use this. And I said, fantastic. I don't want to have an app company, but if I'm going to use DealMachine, we need this, this, and this. And DealMachine is given everything. The route tracking software, this master map where it shows you where you've driven, when you drove there, the analytics behind it. Think about this. You hire a driver, guys. They hit start, drive, end drive. It's going to tell you how many miles they drove, when they drove them, how long they drove, how many addresses per hour they drove. I used to hire drivers and they would go and create a list, right, using technology and, but not this advanced. And I would pay them to lay in their bed and add a bunch of properties. And then I would spend money to market to those properties and I would never get paid. And they would pay them money and I would pay for bad marketing. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I find out they were lying to me and I have to like drive around every once in a while and check their work. It was a complete nightmare. Now we have this technology that you can build a full business. You can make $1 million a year because of these systems that are now in place. So I want you guys to understand, We're not here to promote DealMachine because we want to make money off you and make money off DealMachine. We want you to use DealMachine because we want you to make money. It's the best app. It's the best technology. It's the best thing around. There's others. There's Batch Leads. There's Batch Driven. There's the Driving for Dollars app. There's a bunch of different apps. I've used them. I've tested them. I've been asked to be the face of these companies. I've even been offered equity positions in some of them to own portion of the company, but their tech team did not develop the app in the way that I wanted, and it didn't work. And I wasn't going to promote something just because I could get paid on it. I was going to promote something because it works and because it makes my students money and it makes my audience money. So you guys, if you're using a different app, get rid of it. Please trust me. Okay. Get rid of the app. Get this app. This is the app that you want. You can use the link or the discount code PIN. The discount code is PIN, right? And we'll talk more about that. But the reason you want to use that, not only the free trial, but you get $100 of marketing dollars, right? So you get $100 for postcards or $100 for phone numbers, right? So it totally makes sense to use that discount code for the next step we'll talk about. But yes, you guys want to use this. There's lots of other add-ons that DealMachine has, but for beginners, I don't really want them to have anything else. I want them to use Tap to Add and turn on your route tracking software and go add 200 properties. I want to keep it super simple.
Love it, man. Yeah, I appreciate the shout out and you giving your thought process behind the whole thing. I mean, I know you talk about route tracking. Like this is kind of an example of that, where you can see, hey, this green tail pops up behind you as you're locks onto your location when you hit Start Drive. You drive down the street, that green tail follows you along, and at 12 months or at 6 months it turns yellow, and at 12 months it turns red. So that way you can look at the map and figure out, where have I driven, where's it been a while. I know you redrive every 6 months, right, Zach?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when
so
you
color coordinates, right? Like see the show routes on map, 0 to 6 months it's green, then it turns yellow, then it turns red.
Yeah,
so cool.
So you can see all that, and then each route that you're driving, you can get a route summary up here where you hit drives, and you can see every single route I've ever driven. And you can also, if you add somebody into DealMachine, if you have somebody else be a driver with you, you can click on filtering by their routes, and I can see, hey, here's where Elliot drove. He drove for 3 miles out of 21 leads. Here's the exact route he drove as it goes over here, and you'll be able to blanket entire neighborhoods where you can see, hey, here's the exact routes people are taking, and it'll make sure that you are never doubling back on your routes and you're covering an area as efficiently as possible. So
I want to show them one more thing. So the analytics. So like, let's say you get done with the drive, or you end up paying someone to go drive, or you have your spouse go drive and you want to check their work and see what they did and how they did it. This tool right here, this resource, to me is one of the things that separates DealMachine above the rest and above and beyond, and is essential, right? Because we want to get tech that works now that can scale with us as well, right? How can we build $1 million a year business? Well, you got to start with foundational systems that can handle it. If not, then you're switching out tech and you're switching out business processes, and your business is going to be a pain in the ass if you don't start right. So I want to show you guys this. So if you go to analytics, so you're going to use your phone version, right? You're going to log into your app in your phone, and then you're also going to have login. You're going to go into your desktop to get this detail, right? So keep that in mind. You're not going to want to access this on your phone. You can, but I think it's a better version and it makes more sense on your computer. But yeah, so go to the analytics.
Yep. So you're talking about for each individual driver, or which?
Yeah,
portion?
for each drive, then you'll also be able to. Yeah, so each individual driver.
Yep. So here, I mean, if you go to Elliot right here, this is where you can see, like, hey, here's each individual route that they've driven. You can also, Zach, talking about like being able to say, hey, how do you recruit drivers too? If you click on your profile right here, top right corner, let me show that again. Top right corner, you can add team members. So team, and then invite by email, or hit recruit drivers. And recruit drivers is where you're going to be able to, if you're on our teams plan, you'll be able to actually create a landing page that automatically onboards them into DealMachine that way too. So if you go to an individual driver, that's where you're going to be able to change their permissions and then be able to see all the analytics around like their individual drives, how far they've driven, how long they've driven. Hold on, here we go. Cool. And then at the bottom here, hey, they've driven, 4 hours. He's driven 21 miles. He's had 117 leads. You can filter that by individual. You can sort that by, different types of drives. You can export those drives for tax reasons. You can select date ranges and all of that. So you can see like, hey, where's he driven, within the last month, like in the month of March. Let me see that. Cool. Filter that. All right, awesome. He's just driven, once in the last month. So you can kind of use this on the right-hand side as, really kind of your analytics center for driving.
I love it.
Awesome, man. Is there anything else you want to show off? Or I think we covered it pretty strongly there.
Yeah, I think it's super solid. I think the action steps, right? Like just quickly going over the action steps. I want to recap them, right? Read 10 pages a day.
Yep.
If that's not on your first action step to get a book and set 10 pages a day and schedule that on your calendar, that's the first thing. Next thing, we want to go and get on 3 wholesalers cash buyers lists, right? Whether you do that through Google or the RIA groups, right? You're going to want to get on 3 wholesalers cash buyers lists to get that future data because it's going to be gold, right? If once you've done that, you're also going to figure out where we're going to go drive, right? Where do we go drive? We want to go drive median house price or less and no neighborhoods where houses are selling at 50,000 or less. You're going to go out on your first drive, any physical signs of neglect. You're going to add 200 properties on your driving for dollars list using the tap to add version. You're going to hit start drive, end drive when you go do that. So those are the action steps.
There we go. Love that summary, man. Love that summary. Oh, for sure. The tap to add is absolutely key to get to that number. Again, this is a challenging number. So our whole goal is to give you the tool and resource to be able to do that, be able to get out there, start adding those as quickly as you can.
Let me say this because people are like 200. Oh my gosh, it's going to take me all week. No. The 200 addresses is literally 2 to 4 hours. If you're driving in the right neighborhoods, any physical signs of neglect using tap to add, this will take you 2 to 4 hours of driving. That is it. 2 to 4 hours of driving is nothing. The other stuff's going to take a little bit more time. Plus, you got to read 10 pages every day. Maybe you're a really slow reader, right? That might take 10 minutes. So, you guys got a lot on your plate, but I want you to understand, like, these consistent action steps will lead you to success.
Love it. And that's the whole goal. I mean, the real end goal of what success looks like in this challenge is, landing deals, right? And setting a foundation to land many deals, your first one and many after that. But, our goal with this, after this as well, is we want to give you also prizes for being able to put in that work. So each week, again, we're doing a giveaway. We're going to add up over $3,000 worth of free stuff that we're giving you over the next 3 weeks. One of them is on every Friday. This first one is going to be worth over $800 in free stuff there. So make sure to pay attention to your email. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, again, make sure you go to zackchallenge.com, sign up for the free 21-day challenge there. Just put in your email address, add all of the times right there. Just register for all, and you'll be added to the email list. And with those emails, when you get those, they're going to give you instructions on, hey, here, again, here's the homework. Here's a reminder. Here's the replay. Rewatch this. Zach broke it down for you guys today of exactly what to do, how to easily go out there, hit that number of 200 leads, and put in the work to do that. And then, once you do that, you can send me the evidence of it. I'll give you, email to send it to. And once you submitted that, you're part of it. You're officially entered in that giveaway. So one person on the next live is going to be able to be announced as, hey, they won the giveaway for this week 1. And we're going to do that every single week. So not only do we want to give you the playbook, we want to give you that knowledge all for free. We want you to build a foundation to build a great real estate investing, a great wholesaling and real estate business. But then on top of that, we want to bribe you with free stuff here too. So we'll give you as much free here to start off with. Zach, go ahead, man. Did you have a thought?
Yeah, I just want to say this. Well, first off, I said this at the beginning. This is not for students, right? This challenge that we're doing right here. If you're with me live and you're a student, I see one in here, Tyler Amber, who's super successful
Nice.
out of Texas. I actually have like a screenshot in like 1 month. He made more in 1 month from our system than he made in an entire year previous and 4 years of wholesaling. Freaking crazy.
Awesome.
I can't remember how much it was. Maybe Tyler can chime in and say if he wants to say, but this is not for students. This is for people that are wanting to get started and wanting to kind of dabble in driving for dollars. The reason it's not for students is what my students get is much more. than what we're going to be doing here. And it will kind of become a distraction, right? And some of the steps we talk about here, I also talk in the program. But one of the things that I also want to say is this. Many of you are starting to think, okay, I go out and I drive and I add addresses. Well, what's next? Well, what will be next, we'll talk about next time, which is how to reach out to these people, right? How to reach out and do some marketing and see if they want to sell and find motivated sellers. But then you're going to be like, well, how do I negotiate? I don't know how to negotiate, and I don't know how to do this, and I don't know how to do that. And what if I have a super hot deal on the line and I find someone? Then what? How do I negotiate? How do I, who do I sell the deal to? There's, this business is very simple, right? The concept is simple. We find an ugly house and with someone that wants to sell it, and we pass it to an investor for finder's fee. It's a very simple concept, but there's a lot of moving parts, right? There's contracts and there's marketing and there's negotiations and there's paperwork and legalities around all of this. And it can be overwhelming and it can become scary. So I do free stuff like this all the time. And I have my podcast, I have my YouTube. Mm-hmm. And if you're like, man, I'm just wanting to soak it all in, just soak it in. But if you're like, man, I really, really, really want to take this thing to the next level. I need Zack's cell phone. When I got a hot deal on the line, I want to be able to help me negotiate that thing. I want to get it across the finish line. I'm really serious about this. Like if that's you, your best resource is to become a student, right? It really is. This is great, but becoming a student, I promise, is much better. If you're curious how it works, you can get on a discovery call. It's completely free. We're going to break down what we do, how we do it, and if it's a fit for you, great. If it's not, that's okay. We're still going to be friends. I'm still going to love you. You still can follow me. But you should definitely get on there if you're curious. So go to dfdmastery.com. There'll be a place that you can book a call, go book a call. There's a little application. And, if we're a good fit, we can work together. If not, that's okay as well. So go book a call if you're curious about it. Love to have you as a student if you're interested. So
yeah,
that's what I wanted to say.
Love it, Zack. If you could put that link in the chat, then as well, that'd be perfect.
Do you want me to put it in Webinar Jam or
you can do both? Yeah, go for it, both. So that would be great. I know on our end as well, we have 2 special bonuses for you guys here. Of if you want to get involved on the DealMachine front, if you want to try out DealMachine to help build this list, help you go tackle that homework for week 1. First option is DealMachine.com/pin. And that is going to be a 7-day free trial. So trying this out for 7 days free. I saw a couple questions on pricing. Our starter plan is just $59 a month. Our pro plan is $99 a month. And then teams would be if you're going to build a huge driving team, which if you're on this challenge, probably not going to be the best fit for you. I would look at pro or starter. Start at $59 a month or $99 a month there. So you can try that out 7 days free at DealMachine.com/pin. I'll put this in the webinar jam here for you guys too. Again, you're gonna get $100 free inside the app, $30 before the trial. And then, hey, if you're like, yeah, this is the tool for me, this is going to make my life a lot easier to keep building this list and keep executing on this, you'll get the rest of the 100 after the free trial. So make sure to jump in. You get a bunch of free skip traces, a bunch of free postcards for you with that to help kind of cover this, which next week we're going to really focus on breaking down exactly how to do that, or exactly what all that you can do with that. Next step 2 is okay, hey, if you are deciding like I'm going to fully commit to the year, not just do this for a couple months, but I want to go and commit to an entire year of using DealMachine and want a way better deal than I would get going through the website. This is almost 50% off right here, where you would get DealMachine Pro, which includes 3 users. So like you plus 2 drivers. It includes all the driving for dollar stuff Zack just showed off today, all the map features, we'll talk about the mail center next time, the CRM, the comps, all of that's going to be coming through this playbook as well. But you get everything there, all the good stuff there. You get our list builder for 12 months too. If you want to supplement this and do planned route mode, like be able to pull a list and drive it, list builder helps and unlock that for you. It's the one add-on inside DealMachine. And then again, you get that $100 in free marketing, skip traces, postcards, all that stuff. So normally through our website, all of that would be $1,876 typically. If you go through this would be just $990 for that. So if you're ready to fully commit on that front and say, yes, I want to use technology to help me go land deals and do one and many after that, and not just do this for a couple months, but go for a full year, then I would highly recommend going through DealMachine.com/Zack Challenge. challenge to do that one. So I'll put that up in the webinar jam here for you guys too. So you have both of those options. And then, yeah, guys, get out there and let's go find some deals. Let's knock out that homework. We can, I know it's 5 o'clock, Zach, 6 o'clock your time. So let's go through the chat, answer a few questions. And, I don't want to keep you too late.
I got 5 minutes. I got a
Perfect.
5-year-old's birthday party to go party on.
Fire through this. Yes, you can, KW, you can upgrade levels after you do the basic level. So absolutely. Hector, skip tracing is getting numbers and mail addresses. Yes. Thank you for defining that for Kayla. Love it. Let's see. Let's see. The pricing, we covered that. Tapped ad is a game changer. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate that. Matt Tashner. DealMachine is hands down the best. Thank you. Appreciate the shout outs in here, guys. Let's see. Why do you look under median home price? Can you explain that one more time for Eric?
I'd like to address this one real quick. This is very important. Hector Riviera said, I've heard Zach saying negotiate without a title company and a lawyer, now saying something different. I'm not saying something different. I'm skipping ahead to give an action step to get you faster to leads and talking to sellers, right? And using the DealMachine app, since this is a challenge with DealMachine, right, where we're partnering up on this, there's a lot of other steps and a lot of other things that I get more granular in, especially with my students. That's why I said this is 100% not for students. Students have much more and then some, and they have more action steps before the ones that we've gotten into today. One of those being the legalities around it and getting my purchase contracts and talking to a lawyer and a title company. So there are more things that we could be teaching you, right? But we're trying to get you guys out there and taking action today. But yes, Hector, 100%, and that's why I said this is if you're really serious about this and you really want to take this thing to the next level, working with me as a student would probably be more beneficial. But anyway, sorry, go ahead, Matt.
No, great questions. Awesome. Eric had asked, why do you look under median home price? Can you reiterate that one?
Yeah, because houses that are worth much more, right? High-end homes are usually personal homes that people love, and they would never sell at a discount, right? But people that'll sell houses that are discount, they inherited, mom's house. It's crap. It was run down, and it was, she was a hoarder and tired landlords and just undesirable properties that are a problem. They're a thorn in their side, and very rarely those are high-end homes. So they're usually lower income type neighborhoods. They're the cheaper houses in the area, and that's why. It's just where the investor traffic is.
Great, perfect. Let's see. Ryan said, can we use our current CRM to do this challenge? I use REI Pro. We do have a way to export leads inside DealMachine. Every lead that you add inside DealMachine goes to this leads tab right here. We do have a lot of CRM features inside DealMachine as well, like task taking, note taking, lead statuses, that type of stuff, but or task management and note taking. But if you go to,
can I say this? Can I say this?
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of cool tech, and I don't want you guys to get overwhelmed with tech. So don't worry about tech. If you don't have a CRM, don't get a CRM. If you have a CRM, great. This will integrate with everything. All right. So if you already have a CM, bam, you're good. You're golden. If you don't have a CRM, the only thing you're going to need to keep track of who you've talked to and who needs a follow-up call. Use Google Calendars. It's free. Don't get a CRM. I made over 6 figures in wholesaling before I ever paid money for a CRM. You don't need it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Eric also mentioned, can you see all the areas driven in one map so you know where not to go? Yeah, Eric, that route tracking, if you zoom out, you'll be able to see all the routes all over the map for you right there, and that's what that's for. And then had a couple questions, like Kayla said, what about auction houses? What about out-of-state buyers?
How about out-of-state buyers? Sorry, I didn't understand.
Yeah, Kayla said, let's see, what about auction houses? What about out-of-state buyers?
Yeah, so, one of the things that we'll do is build a buyer's list. It's another thing we didn't really talk about, right? So auction.com is a place where you can find local auctions, right? The county auctions where they're auctioning off foreclosures, tax foreclosures, mortgage foreclosures, those kinds of things, right? So you can go find the buyers there. Out-of-state buyers, they exist, and depending on your market, they may exist more, but most of your buyers are going to be local, most of them. They have teams, they have flipping teams, they have multiple properties. they may live out of state, but they got a team in state. So rarely am I selling to out-of-state buyers.
2 last questions. One was, what about a property owned by an LLC or investment group?
Yeah, what about it? So yes, market to it. Yes, add it. Getting phone numbers, they're not going to be very accurate unless you go to figure out who filed the LLC. It's a pain in the butt. We don't do it. We only send postcards to that list, that subsection of our driving for dollars list. We don't text or call it.
Jermaine, that answers your question there too. I think it's the corporate.
Yeah, I kind of went into what we do with it. So hopefully that makes sense.
Awesome. And last one was, how often do you drive a zip code? I think you said every 6 months, right?
Yeah, I try and drive the areas every 6 months. And we kind of adjusted where we're actually going to probably drive a little bit more often, but only in those hot zip codes because that's where all the deals are happening. Remember getting on the wholesalers cash buyers list? So why? Yeah, that's why, right? Because there's certain areas where there's literally 90 deals. I mean, we're talking about tens of millions of dollars, not $1 million. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars that were on my marketing list. They got marketed to that didn't come into my business, right? So that sucks, but it's exciting. Think about that, guys. Tens of millions of dollars that were right there. They were so close, and I missed them so very close. So we're going to spend more effort in those areas and take marketing dollars that are being wasted in the wrong areas and putting them to the right areas. So guys, like our numbers, we tripled our first quarter. Like I said, guys, my business, I could net in my pockets profits after paying my sales team, after paying marketing. And I don't run any appointments. I don't do any driving. I don't do any of this stuff. I could net $1 million this year. Right. For the first time, like net profit, like crazy. Right. I've been grossing $1 million for a while, but I haven't been netting that much. It's amazing what this business can do.
Love it, man. So inspiring. That got me fired up. I'm ready to do this. I mean, we will see you guys this time, same place next week. You got to go. You got to get out of here. Devin, the link is
my
right
wife's
there.
like blowing me up. Like, you got to go.
Yeah, same here. DealMachine.com/pin for the free trial, Devin. We will see you guys next week. Get out there, go complete that homework, and excited to do this again. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see ya.